Dr. Zixthara walked into the meeting room with her datapad in hand. Her blue skin had turned darker with worry. She had been studying humans for 3 cycles now, and what she found scared her more than any creature she had ever seen. The Galactic Council's science team sat around the large table. Their different alien faces all looked at her with interest. Some had multiple eyes, others had no eyes at all. But they all wanted to know what she had learned about the humans. Council members. Dr. Zixthara began, her voice shaking slightly. I must report the humans are not what we thought they were. They are not a normal species that grew up on their planet. They are something else, something made. Commander Morpheus 9, the robot leader of the research team, leaned forward. His metal face had no expression, but his voice showed interest. Explain what you mean, Doctor. Dr. Zixthara touched her datapad. A picture appeared in the air above the table. It showed a human male sitting in a cell. His name was Jake Martinez, and he had been captured 3 months ago during a fight near the outer planets. This human has been tested many times, she said. We have exposed him to radiation that should kill any living thing. He lived. We put him in freezing cold that would stop the heart of a Velthari warrior. He lived. We gave him poisons that would kill a Kraxan in seconds. He lived. The council members made sounds of surprise. Some clicked their claws on the table. Others made worried noises from their breathing holes. But that is not the worst part, Dr. Zixthara continued. He did not just live through these tests. He got stronger. His body changed to fight the radiation. His blood learned to work in the cold. His organs cleaned out the poison like it was water. She touched her pad again. Now they could see charts and numbers floating in the air. The lines on the charts went up and up, showing how the human's body had improved after each test. No natural species can do this, she said. Evolution takes millions of years. This human's body changed in days. This is not possible unless someone made him this way. In the cells far below the meeting room, Jake Martinez sat on his metal bed. He was tired, but his body felt strange, stronger, different. The aliens had done many painful things to him, but he was still alive. More than alive. He felt like he could break through the walls if he tried hard enough. The cell next to his held Lisa Thompson, a woman who had been grabbed from a trade ship. She was a teacher from Earth, not a soldier like Jake, but she looked just as strong as he felt. Jake, she whispered through the small hole in the wall between their cells. Do you feel it too? Like something is waking up inside us? Jake nodded, even though she could not see him. Yeah, it's like my body knows. Things I don't know. Like it's been waiting for something to happen. Back in the meeting room, Dr. Zixthara was showing more pictures. These were of human bones, human blood, human organs. All of them looked different from what the aliens expected. Look at their bones, she said, pointing to a picture. They are not just strong. They have tiny machines inside them. Not machines like we make, but biological machines. Living machines that fix damage and make the bones harder. The council members moved in their seats. Some were scared. Others were angry. Their blood is even worse, Dr. Zixthara continued. It carries more oxygen than any blood should be able to carry. It has things in it that fight disease, that heal cuts, that even help their brains work faster. This is not natural blood. This is designed blood. She paused and looked around the table. Council members, I believe humans were made by someone else. Someone who wanted to create the perfect living weapon. Someone who succeeded. Commander Morpheus 9 processed this information for 0.3 seconds. Doctor, are you saying that humans are biological weapons? I am saying they are biological weapons that think they are people, Dr. Zixthara replied. They do not know what they are. They believe they are just another species like us, but they are not. They are engines of destruction wrapped in flesh. The room became very quiet. The only sounds were the breathing of the different alien species and the soft hum of the space station's engines. "What do you recommend?" asked Counselor Vekmar, a large creature with 6 arms. Dr. Zixthara looked at her datapad one more time. "I recommend we find out who made them and why. And we need to find out fast. Because if someone made humans to be weapons, we need to know who that enemy is." "And the humans we have captured?" asked another council member. "We keep testing them. We learn everything we can. Because if we ever have to fight against more humans, we need to know their weaknesses." She paused. "If they have any." In his cell, Jake Martinez felt a strange tingling in his muscles. His body was changing again, getting ready for something he did not understand. He looked at his hands and saw that small cuts from the tests were healing as he watched. He did not know that far above him, aliens were deciding his fate. He did not know that they saw him as a monster. He only knew that something inside him was waking up, and it felt like it had been sleeping for a very long time. Lisa Thompson felt it too. In her cell, she was becoming something more than human, something that someone had planned long ago. The aliens thought they were studying her, but really, she was studying them back. Her mind was working faster now, seeing patterns, understanding things that should have been impossible to understand. The humans were changing, and they did not even know it yet. 6 months later, the Galactic Council had built a secret research station in empty space. No star maps showed this place. No trade routes came near it. 50 humans lived in cells there, taken from ships and planets across the galaxy. Dr. Amy Carter pressed her face against the small window in her cell door. She could see other doors down the long hallway. Behind each door was another human. She was a scientist who studied stars, but now she was the thing being studied. "Amy," called a voice from the cell next to hers. It was Tony Rodriguez, a former Marine who had been captured during a rescue mission. "You see anything new today?" Amy looked at the aliens walking in the hallway. They looked like giant insects with too many legs. Same bug people as yesterday. But they seemed more worried than usual. The aliens were worried. Dr. Zixthara walked through the station with Director Keth Morin, a creature that looked like a praying mantis the size of a small car. He was in charge of all the testing. "The results make no sense," Director Keth Morin said, his voice making clicking sounds. "We exposed the humans to acid rain from Mordok Prime. It should have dissolved their skin in minutes. What happened?" Dr. Zixthara asked, though she was afraid she already knew. "Their skin got thicker, like armor. In 2 days, the acid could not hurt them at all." They walked past a room where other aliens were watching screens. The screens showed humans in different test chambers. In one chamber, a human woman named Katie Walsh was walking around in air that should have killed her. The air had no oxygen, only poison gas, but she was breathing it like normal air. "How long has she been in there?" Dr. Zixthara asked. 6 hours. Her lungs changed in the first hour. Now they work differently. They take the poison and turn it into something she can use. Dr. Zixthara felt sick. This was not how biology was supposed to work. Nothing could change that fast dot in another room. They saw something even worse. A human man named Ben Cooper was fighting against 3 robot fighters. The robots were designed to test combat skills. They were fast and strong and had weapons. Ben Cooper was winning. "He has no weapons," Director Keth Morin explained. "We gave him nothing. But watch his hands." Ben Cooper grabbed one robot and threw it across the room. His hands had changed. His fingers were longer and stronger. His nails had become like claws. But the scariest part was his eyes. They were tracking the other robots like a hunter watching prey. His body made itself into a weapon. Dr. Zixthara said quietly. In 30 minutes, Director Kethmoran replied. When we first put him in there, he was just a normal human. Now look at him. They watched Ben Cooper tear apart the last robot with his bare hands. When the test was over, he stood in the middle of the room breathing hard. Then his hands slowly changed back to normal. His claws became regular fingernails again, but his eyes stayed different. They stayed like a hunter's eyes. Back in the cell, Amy Carter was talking to the other humans through the small holes in the walls. She had figured out that if she spoke very quietly, her voice would carry through the air system to other cells. Listen, she whispered. I've been watching the guards. They come in patterns. 3 shifts, 8 hours each. During the middle shift, they have fewer guards. Why does that matter? Asked Maria Santos from 3 cells down. She had been a military planner before the aliens took her. Because they're getting scared of us, Amy said. Have you noticed? We're all getting stronger, faster, better at things we were never good at before. Tony Rodriguez laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Yeah, I noticed. Yesterday, they put me in a room with no light, total darkness. But after 10 minutes, I could see everything. Like I had night vision or something. Same here, said Katie Walsh. They made me solve puzzles while they played sounds that should have driven me crazy. But instead of going crazy, I got better at solving puzzles. Like the noise was helping me think. Amy Carter thought about this. She was a scientist, and she knew this was impossible. Human bodies did not work this way, but it was happening anyway. There's something else, she said. I think they're not just testing us. I think they're activating something. Like we had these abilities all along, but they were sleeping. In the observation room, Dr. Zixthara and her team were watching all the humans talk to each other. They could hear every word through hidden microphones. The human scientist is correct, said Dr. Velinara, an alien that looked like a walking fish. We are not creating these abilities. We are waking them up. The abilities were already there, waiting. Waiting for what? Asked Director Kethmoran. We do not know. But we have found something else. Look at this. Dr. Velinara showed them a screen with human brain scans. The brain activity looked like a light show, with different colors flashing. In patterns. When we first captured them, human brains looked normal. Now look at them. New parts are turning on. Parts that were not active before. The brain scans showed areas lighting up that no human brain had ever used. It was like someone had built extra rooms in their heads, and now those rooms were opening. What do you think is in those new areas? Dr. Zixthara asked. Knowledge, Dr. Velinara said. Information, maybe instructions. We think someone put things in human brains and told them to wait for a signal. What kind of signal? The kind of signal our tests are sending. Danger, threat, survival pressure. The more we try to hurt them, the more their hidden abilities wake up. Director Kethmoran clicked his claws together nervously. Are you saying that humans are designed to get stronger when they are attacked? We are saying that humans are designed to become perfect survivors. No matter what tries to kill them, they adapt and become immune to it. In her cell, Amy Carter was thinking the same thing. She looked at her hands and saw that her fingernails were a little sharper than they used to be. Her eyes could see better in the dark. Her mind could solve problems faster than before. We're changing, she whispered to the others. All of us. And I don't think it's an accident. What do you mean? Asked Tony Rodriguez. I mean someone wanted this to happen. Someone made us this way on purpose. We're not just randomly getting better. We're becoming something specific, something we were always supposed to be. The humans in the cells did not know that above them, aliens were making the same conclusion. Both sides were starting to understand. that humans were not accidents of evolution, but neither side knew who had made humans this way or why. That answer was still hidden, waiting somewhere in the galaxy for someone to find it. Dr. Zixthara stood on the surface of planet Zerion 7, looking at ruins that were older than most star systems. The buildings were made of a metal that never got old or broke down. Strange symbols covered the walls, symbols that hurt to look at for too long. The architects built this place, said Professor Axthul, floating beside her in a cloud of gas that was his body. They disappeared 50,000 years ago, but their buildings still work perfectly. With them were 6 humans from the research station. The aliens had brought them to test if the ruins had any biological dangers. If something in the ruins could kill aliens, they would send the humans in first to see what happened. One of the humans was Dr. Sam Mitchell, who had studied old civilizations before the aliens captured him. He looked at the symbols on the walls and felt something strange in his head, like the symbols were trying to tell him something. "These are not just decorations," he said to Katie Walsh, who was standing next to him. "They're instructions. Or maybe warnings." Katie Walsh was an engineer. She looked at the doorways and passages and saw that they were built for creatures much taller than humans, almost aliens. Whoever lived here was big, really big. The group walked deeper into the ruins. Security Chief Bram Tok, a lizard-like alien with scales and sharp teeth, kept his weapon ready. He did not trust the humans, even though they were chained. "Doctor Zixthara," he said, "why do the humans seem so calm? Every other species gets nervous in architect ruins. The humans act like they belong here." It was true. While the aliens moved carefully and jumped at every shadow, the humans walked through the ruins like they were in their own. They touched walls and looked at symbols without fear. "I don't know," Dr. Zixthara replied. But she was starting to have an idea, and it scared her. They reached a large room filled with machines that still glowed with soft blue light. In the center was a pillar covered in symbols, but these symbols were different. They moved and changed as the group watched. "A data storage system," Professor Axthul said with excitement. "It's still active after all this time." Dr. Sam Mitchell walked toward the pillar without being told to. The aliens started to stop him, but then something amazing happened. The symbols on the pillar started to glow brighter. They began to arrange themselves into patterns that looked almost like human writing. "How is it doing that?" Dr. Zixthara asked. Sam Mitchell put his hand on the pillar. The moment his skin touched the metal, the entire room filled with light. Images appeared in the air around them. Pictures of the galaxy, of different planets, of creatures they had never seen before. "It's reading him," Katie Walsh said quietly. "The machine is reading his mind and showing us what it finds." The images changed. Now they showed Earth, but not the Earth of today. This was Earth from long ago, when humans were still primitive. But in the images, ships came down from space. Ships that looked like they were made by the same people who built these ruins. "The architects went to Earth," Professor Axthul said, his gas body swirling with excitement. "They visited the humans when they were still early in development." But the images showed more than just a visit. They showed the architects changing things, changing the humans, adding things to their bodies and minds that were not there before. "They modified us," Sam Mitchell said, his voice strange and distant. "They took early humans and made us into something else." More images appeared. These showed other planets, other species. But these species were dying. Huge black shapes moved between the stars, destroying everything they found. The black shapes had no names, but the humans somehow knew what to call them. "The Devourers," Katie Walsh whispered, even though she had never heard that name before. Images showed the architects fighting the black shapes, but losing. Their great civilization was falling apart. But before they died, they did something desperate. They made us as a backup plan, Sam Mitchell said, still touching the pillar. The machine was putting information directly into his mind. Every 50,000 years, the Devourers come back. They destroy all advanced civilizations. The architects knew they could not win, so they created us. Dr. Zixthara felt her heart stop beating for a moment. Created you to do what? The images changed again. Now they showed humans, but not humans as they were now. These humans were stronger, faster, smarter. They fought against the black shapes and won. They protected other species, saving them from destruction. We are designed to activate when the galaxy is in danger, Sam Mitchell explained. All the abilities that your tests are waking up, they were put there on purpose. We are supposed to become guardians. Katie Walsh looked around the room with new understanding. That's why our bodies change so fast. That's why we adapt to everything you do to us. We're not just random evolution. We're tools made for a specific job. The pillar showed them more information. The architects had not just changed human bodies. They had hidden knowledge in human minds, locked away until it was needed. They had made humans able to bond with any species, to understand any technology, to survive any environment. But why hide this from us? Katie asked. Why not tell humans what they were made for? Sam Mitchell smiled sadly. Because if we knew we were weapons, we might choose not to be guardians. The architects wanted us to develop naturally, to become people who would choose to protect others, not just follow programming. Professor Axthul was recording everything with his sensors. This explains so much about human behavior. Your pack bonding extends to any species you meet. Your curiosity drives you to explore and understand. Your protective instincts activate when others are threatened. Security Chief Bramtalk was looking at the humans with new eyes. So you are weapons after all. No, Sam Mitchell said, taking his hand off the pillar. We are guardians. There is a difference. Weapons destroy. Guardians protect. The pillar showed them one final image. It was a view of deep space at the edge of the galaxy. Something was moving there. Something big and dark coming toward them. The Devourers are returning, Katie Walsh said, and somehow she knew it was true. That's why we're all changing now. That's why the abilities are waking up. The galaxy is in danger again. Dr. Zixthara looked at the humans with complete shock. Everything she thought she knew was wrong. Humans were not bioengineered horrors. They were bioengineered heroes. Council command, she said into her communication device. We need to return to the station immediately. And we need to contact the Galactic Council. Everything we believed about humans is wrong. As they left the ruins, Sam Mitchell and Katie Walsh looked back at the ancient buildings. They could feel new knowledge settling into their minds, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. They understood things now that they had never learned, and somewhere in the back of their minds, they could feel it. A call getting stronger. Something was coming, and it was their job to be ready for it. The other humans back at the research station would feel it too, soon. All across the galaxy, humans would start to change faster, to remember things they had never known. The Guardians were waking up, just like the architects had planned 50,000 years ago. The research station was different when Dr. Zixthara returned. The humans in the cells were no longer just prisoners waiting for tests. They were something else now, something that made the alien guards nervous. Amy Carter stood in her cell. But she was not the same woman who had been captured months ago. Her eyes were brighter, her movements more precise. She could hear conversations happening 3 levels away through the metal walls. She could smell the fear of the guards when they walked past her door. Ben, she whispered, knowing her voice would carry through the air systems to Ben Cooper's cell. The patterns are changing. Guard shift rotation is off by 12 minutes. Something has them worried. Ben Cooper was doing exercises in his cell, but these were not normal exercises. He was moving in ways that should have been impossible, his body bending and stretching like it was made of different materials than before. I can hear it too, he said quietly. Ships arriving. Big ones. And the guards are talking about moving us. In the control room, Director Keth Morin was having an emergency meeting with his staff. The news from the ruins had changed everything. Dr. Zixthara's report is clear, he told the group. The humans are not weapons designed to hurt us. They are guardians designed to protect all life. But the Galactic Council is not ready to accept this information. Dr. Velinara, the fish-like alien, floated in her water tank with worry. The Council has ordered us to increase testing. They want to find ways to control or eliminate humans before they become too powerful. That is a mistake, said a new voice. Everyone turned to see junior researcher Pip Tell, a young alien who looked like a small bear with 6 arms. I have been studying the human responses. They are not becoming more dangerous. They are becoming more protective. Director Keth Morin's insect eyes focused on the young researcher. Explain? Watch the recordings from yesterday, Pip Tell said, activating a screen. When we tested the human named Tony Rodriguez, we also put a wounded Klexan prisoner in the same chamber. The human could have ignored the Klexan and focused on surviving the test. The screen showed Tony Rodriguez in a chamber filled with deadly gas. But instead of just protecting himself, he had torn off pieces of his clothing to make filters for the wounded alien prisoner. He shared his breathing mask and helped the Klexan survive. The human made the test harder for himself to save someone. From a species he had never seen before, Pip Tell explained. This is not the behavior of a weapon. This is the behavior of a protector. In the cells, the humans were planning. They had been working on this for weeks, but now they knew they had to act fast. Amy Carter had figured out how to override the lock systems by using the electrical fields her body now produced. Ben Cooper had found ways to disable the security cameras by creating small electromagnetic pulses. Maria, Amy whispered to Maria Santos, who was 5 cells away. How many guards on the lower level? Maria Santos had been a military planner, but now her tactical abilities were enhanced beyond anything human armies had ever seen. She could track the movement of every guard in the facility just by listening to their footsteps and breathing. 12. Guards rotating every 2 hours, she replied. But there's something else. Dr. Velinara has been accessing the human database files. She's on our side. This was true. Dr. Velinara had been studying the humans for months, and she had seen how they behaved when they thought no one was watching. They helped each other, even when helping meant getting punished. They shared food and water. They protected the weaker prisoners from other species. These are not monsters, she had told Director Keth Morin. These are the most moral creatures I have ever studied. The escape began at 0300 station time. Amy Carter used her new electrical abilities to open her cell door without setting off alarms. Ben Cooper slipped out of his cell and moved through the hallways like a shadow, disabling cameras and sensors as he went. But the most amazing part was how they worked together. Without any planning or communication, the humans moved like they were one organism. Katie Walsh instinctively knew where Ben Cooper would be and had tools ready for him. Tony Rodriguez appeared exactly where Amy Carter needed backup. They moved through the station like water flowing around obstacles. When they encountered guards, they did not kill them. Instead, they used precisely targeted pressure points that made the guards fall asleep. When they found other prisoners from different species, they freed them too. This way, Katie Walsh said, leading a group of freed aliens toward the escape pods. She had never seen the station's layout, but somehow she knew exactly where to go. In the control room, Alarms were going off everywhere. Director Kethmoran watched the security monitors and saw something that amazed him. The humans were not just escaping. They were rescuing everyone else, too. They could have been gone by now, Dr. Velinara observed. But they are staying to help the other prisoners. "Sir," called one of the security officers, "the humans have reached the shuttle bay. But they are not taking all the escape pods. They are leaving some for us." Director Kethmoran realized something that changed everything. They are not trying to hurt us. They are trying to save everyone. The escape pods launched into space just as the first Devourer scout ships appeared at the edge of the system. The timing was not an accident. The humans had felt the approach of the enemy before any sensors could detect them. Ben Cooper, piloting one of the escape pods, looked at the displays showing the approaching ships. They were massive, dark shapes that seemed to absorb light. Just looking at them made most species feel terror, but the humans felt something else. They felt recognition. They felt purpose. "Amy," Ben said over the communication system, "you feel it too, don't you?" "Yes," Amy Carter replied from another pod. "We know how to fight them. The knowledge is just ... there." Back on the station, Dr. Velinara made a choice that would change her life forever. She accessed the communication systems and sent a message to all the escape pods. "Humans," she broadcast, "this is Dr. Velinara. I am sorry for what we did to you. I understand now that you are not our enemies. You are our protectors. Please, when you fight the Devourers, remember that some of us tried to help you." Amy Carter's voice came back over the speakers. "Dr. Velinara, you and others like you are exactly why we will fight. We do not protect the galaxy because we have to. We protect it because there are good people in it worth saving." The escape pods scattered across the system, but they were not running away. They were taking positions around the station, forming a protective barrier between the research facility and the approaching Devourer scouts. Director Kethmoran watched the displays with amazement. They are not fleeing. They are defending us. The first Devourer scout ship entered weapons range. It was the size of a small moon, covered in organic-looking armor that pulsed with dark energy. It fired weapons that could destroy entire planets. But the humans were ready. Without any training or planning, they moved their small ships in perfect coordination. They dodged the massive energy beams and fired back with weapons that should not have been able to hurt such a large ship. Somehow, they were winning. Jake Martinez, flying his escape pod like he had been born to pilot it, spoke over the communication channel. "This is what we were made for. This is why we exist." The battle for the galaxy had begun, and the Guardians were finally awake. 2 years after the escape from the research station, the galaxy was at war. The Devourers had come in numbers that darkened entire star systems. But they had not expected to find the Guardians waiting for them. Admiral Rachel Stone stood on the bridge of the human ship Defender, watching the displays show the largest space battle in galactic history. Around her, aliens and humans worked side by side at control stations, their minds linked in ways that should have been impossible. "Captain Hayes," she said to Danny Hayes, who was commanding the ground forces, "what is the status of the orbital defense platforms?" Danny Hayes looked up from his battle displays. His eyes had changed during the war, becoming sharper and more aware. All the humans had changed. "Platforms are holding, Admiral. The mixed species crews are working better than anyone expected." This was the miracle of the war. Humans had not taken over the galaxy's defense. Instead, they had taught other species how to work together in perfect harmony. A human could link minds with a Velthari, a Klexan, and a Morpheus robot at the same time, sharing knowledge and abilities between all of them. On the planet below, Dr. Amy Carter was no longer just a scientist. She had become something new. something the architects had designed but never seen. She could interface directly with alien technology, understanding machines from completely different civilizations as if she had built them herself. "Amy," called Ben Cooper over the communication system, "the main Devourer ship is moving toward the Architect weapon site. We need to activate the defense systems." Amy looked at the ancient Architect facility they had discovered on this planet. It was a weapon designed to fight the Devourers, but it required something the Architects themselves could not provide. It needed a guardian to operate it. "I know," she replied. "But Ben, you understand what this means. The weapon needs a direct neural link. Whoever activates it probably will not survive." There was silence on the communication channel for a moment. Then Jake Martinez's voice came through, calm and certain. "Amy, we were made for this. All of us. We knew from the moment we understood what we were that this day would come." Around the galaxy, similar conversations were happening. Humans were preparing to make the ultimate sacrifice, not because they had to, but because it was what they were designed to do. Protect all life, even if it cost them their own. The main Devourer ship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was the size of a small planet, covered in organic armor that pulsed with dark energy. It consumed entire worlds, adding their mass to its own body. It had destroyed the Architects 50,000 years ago, and now it had come to finish what it started, but the Architects had left one final surprise. "All human ships, this is Admiral Stone," Rachel broadcast across the fleet. "You know what we have to do. Remember, we are not fighting to destroy our enemies. We are fighting to protect our friends." The human ships moved into formation around the Devourer ship, but they were not alone. Ships from dozens of alien species flew with them, their crews working in perfect synchronization with human coordinators. Dr. Zix Thera, now serving as science advisor to the fleet, watched from her station on the bridge. "Admiral, the energy readings from that ship are off the scale. How can we possibly hurt something that large?" Rachel Stone smiled. "Doctor, you are still thinking about this the wrong way. We are not trying to hurt it. We are trying to save it." This was the final secret the Architect facility had revealed. The Devourers were not evil invaders from outside the galaxy. They were the leftover fragments of the last civilization that had faced this crisis. 50,000 years ago, when the previous Guardians had failed, the desperate survivors had transformed themselves into living weapons. But the transformation had driven them insane, turning them into the very threat they had tried to fight. "The Devourers are victims too," Amy Carter said as she approached the Architect weapon controls. "They are prisoners inside their own transformed bodies, unable to stop destroying everything they once loved. The weapon was not designed to kill the Devourers. It was designed to heal them, to reverse the transformation that had made them into monsters. But operating it required a guardian to sacrifice their own life force to power the healing process." "Amy, you do not have to do this alone," said Dr. Valinara, who had joined the human forces after the escape. "The weapon can accept multiple operators." Around the galaxy, other humans were making the same choice. Tony Rodriguez, Maria Santos, Katie Walsh, and dozens of others approached similar Architect facilities on different worlds. They all knew that activating the weapons would drain their life energy, but they also knew it was the only way to save everyone. "For the galaxy," Amy Carter said, as she placed her hands on the weapon controls. "For all life," replied the other. Humans as they activated their own weapons. The effect was immediate and amazing. Beams of pure healing energy shot out from the Architect weapons across the galaxy. The beams did not destroy the Devourer ships. Instead, they passed through the dark armor and reached the twisted creatures inside. For the first time in 50,000 years, the Devourers remembered who they used to be. On the main Devourer ship, something incredible happened. The organic armor began to change, becoming lighter and brighter. The ship stopped its advance toward the planet and hung motionless in space. "Admiral," called one of the bridge officers, "we are receiving a transmission from the Devourer ship." The voice that came through the speakers was weak and filled with pain, but it was clearly intelligent. "Please ... help us ... we remember now. We did not want this. We were trying to save our people." Rachel Stone felt tears on her face. "This is Admiral Stone of the Galactic Defense Fleet. We understand. We are here to help." On the planet, Amy Carter felt the weapon drawing energy from her body. She was getting weaker, but she could see through the facility's sensors that it was working. Across the galaxy, the Devourer ships were changing, their crews remembering their original purpose. "Ben," she called weakly, "the weapon needs more power. I do not think I can ... "You are not doing this alone," Ben Cooper said, placing his hands next to hers on the controls. "None of us are." One by one, other humans joined them. Jake Martinez, Lisa Thompson, and even some of the aliens who had learned to interface with human neural patterns. They shared the burden, spreading the energy drain across multiple people so that no one had to die. This was something the architects had never expected. They had designed the weapons to be operated by a single guardian who had sacrificed themselves. But humans had taught the galaxy something new, the power of working together. The healing process took 3 days. When it was finished, the galaxy had changed forever. The creatures that had been devourers were now themselves again, ancient beings with vast knowledge and wisdom. They remembered their original names, their families, their hopes and dreams from before the transformation. "We are called the Eternal Builders," their leader explained during the first peace conference. "We have been prisoners in our own bodies for 50 millennia. The Guardians have given us back our souls." Dr. Zixthara sat in the conference room with representatives from hundreds of species. Humans sat among them, but not as leaders or rulers. They sat as friends and protectors, ready to help whenever help was needed. "The crisis is over," she said. "But what happens now?" Admiral Rachel Stone, looking tired but happy, answered for all the humans. "Now we do what we were always supposed to do. We help build a galaxy where all species can live together in peace." The Eternal Builders, grateful for their freedom, shared their ancient knowledge with the galaxy. They taught new technologies, new medicines, new ways of understanding the universe. But they also shared a warning. This crisis happens in cycles. Their leader explained. Every 50,000 years, something threatens all life in the galaxy. The Guardians will be needed again. "We will be ready," said Danny Hayes. "But next time, we will not be alone." Years passed. Human families settled on worlds across the galaxy, but not as conquerors. They lived as neighbors, friends, and protectors. Human children grew up playing with alien children, learning to bond with any species they met. The research station where it all began became a school, where humans and aliens learned together. Dr. Zixthara became its first director, teaching courses on interspecies cooperation. Amy Carter survived the weapon activation and became a teacher too. She helped other species understand how to work together the way humans did naturally. Ben Cooper became an explorer, leading mixed species crews to discover new worlds and new civilizations. The galaxy was safer now, but more than that, it was unified. Hundreds of species that had never trusted each other before now worked together on projects that benefited everyone. And in the deep space monitoring stations, human operators kept watch for the next threat, because they knew it would come eventually. That was the pattern. That was the cycle. But when it came, the galaxy would be ready. Not just humans, but all species working together as guardians of life, Dr. Zixthara finished writing her final report 50 years after first studying humans. The classification had changed from bioengineered horror to bioengineered guardian to something simpler and more accurate. She typed the final words. Species classification, human friends. Outside her office window, she could see human and alien.